Hi everyone, Tim Brown. Welcome back to my Apple Podcast. I just purchased a MacBook Pro recently, updated to Mavericks, and I'm very excited. I'm still using versions on the Mac, and I want to highlight versions for those of you who are relatively new to the Mac and you're not quite sure how versions actually works. Basically, when you're working on a document and you make some changes, well, those changes are going to be saved automatically, and you may not always be satisfied with those changes. There are some people who are so uncomfortable with versions that they're making copies of their documents, so when changes are made, they can always go back and get the other one. But you don't really have to go through all that because Apple has all of these features built in. You make a change, don't worry. Use versions and go back, retrieve your history, and you can find that original document. This is how it's done. So I have Preview open now. I'm going to open this document that I have stored in the cloud. And what I did was I deleted a couple of slides from this PDF, and I want to retrieve that earlier document. So I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Revert to, and then Browse All Versions. And what you're going to see here is a time machine look at your documents, and you'll be able to just go back in time to find some of those earlier versions. And here you can see the version where I had my original slides. Actually, I deleted 2 slides. So here are the 2 slides that I'm missing, and I want this document back. So I'm going to go ahead and click Restore. And voila, those 2 slides at the beginning have been restored. And it's really that simple. And it works in a number of different ways, particularly with Apple documents like Preview and Pages. So let's try it with Pages. I'm going to go to Pages now, open another document that I have stored in the cloud. And I'm going to go ahead and just delete a couple of elements here that I have in my document. I'm going to go ahead and click out of it, reopen it, and now you can see that the changes were saved. Those 2 elements that I deleted are no longer a part of my document. Darn, I want them back. So I'm going to use the Revert feature. I'm going to go to File, Revert to, Browse All Versions. I'm going to get that timeline view again, and you can see I now have the option to go back in time to find earlier versions that I worked on where that version was evident. I found it, so I'm going to open it and click Restore, and voila, I am now back to my original document, and this is the document I'm going to retrieve from here on out until I decide to retrieve another version again. So let me just open it again, and you can see I'm now back at that original version. This is pretty cool. It makes working with your documents effortless, and you never have to worry about a thing. Let's try Keynote. I'm going to open a Keynote presentation in the cloud, and I'm going to delete a couple slides here too. Maybe that first title slide, that's good enough. And I'm going to exit out of that, go to File, and then open that recent presentation, and you can see the title slide has been eliminated. Of course, I don't want to do that because I put a lot of time into this presentation, and the title slide was the best part. So I'm going to go to File and Revert to so I can retrieve the earlier versions. And I'm going to use Timeline here and just go back in time until I can find that presentation that had my original slide. I'll go ahead and open this up. Sure enough, there it is. There's my original title slide. Click Restore, and I'm back to the original presentation. It's really that simple. So you don't really have to worry about anything when you're using versions because Apple and the Mac takes care of all of that. This is Tim Brown. Thanks for tuning in to this short episode of my Apple Podcast. Check me out next time.